See, I'm fucking up already. She sells seashells by the seashore.
I can never do that one.
Or for all my old heads that would really deep cut on this one. Me males, mama, me more. Anyway,
Sinful
what's going on
Caesar sipped his sifter, seized his knees and sneezed. Marvelous.
Wonderful. I didn't even make out the words you said. Let alone
Sinful Caesar sipped his sifter, seized his knees and sneezed. Marvelous. Wonderful. Thank you. Oh, do another. Chester chooses chestnuts, cheddar cheese, and chewy chives. He chews them and he chooses them. He chooses them and he chews them. Those chestnuts, cheddar cheese, and chives in cheery, charming chunks. Wonderful. Wonderful. Moses supposes his toes are roses.
Oh,
but Moses supposes erroneously.
Yes, Singing in the Rain, or is it the King of Night?
Moses, he knows his toes aren't roses, as Moses supposes his toes to be. If I keep going, I'm just gonna go into the song, so go ahead and do the outro.
What's going on, everybody? This is the Whatever We Want podcast. If you're wondering what happened, you're just tuning in. I am opening up every episode with the next letter of the alphabet, the following letter of the alphabet, and with a tongue twister. So it's supposed to be S, and then the nature of the show, before we even introed the show, we started to divulge into just going whatever the fuck was. Anyway, this is the Whatever We Want podcast. I am one of the hosts. I go by the name of Jazz, Super Jazz, SJ.
Super Jazz.
He was gearing up and ready, wasn't he, as nature intended? Super Jazz, SJ, JT, whatever you want, what have you, and the like. And, as always, I'm joined by the other host of the show.
You guys know who it is, what's going on, when it's happening, where it's at, and why we're here today. How you doing? It is I, the sublimely magnificent Big Ugly himself, Omari Ellis, Feo Grande on YouTube, sometimes referred to as Pete on the show. And, I'm here as well.
And like I said, everybody, this is the Whatever We Want podcast, where we do just that. We talk about whatever we want. We do not lead this conversation. This conversation leads us, and we let these chips fall where they may.
Every Wednesday.
Now, I have a question for you, dear friend.
Yes, sir.
I was thinking about this. There's a lot of different professions, careers, odd jobs, whatever you do to make money, whatever, right? And I was thinking, do you know what quite possibly has to be the shittiest job?
Something that's been on Dirty Jobs before. I don't know. I didn't watch the show Dirty Jobs, but that's exactly what that show's for. To
a sanitation worker. Get it?
I wanted to say something about sewage, but I thought you were asking the question seriously, so I tried to answer it seriously. But yes, sanitation worker.
It was funny, before we recorded this, I was for some reason it just popped in my head, and I was like, oh, that's not a bad prompt. Like something along the lines of what I said. I was like, that's not a bad prompt. And then I was like, sanitation worker, and it popped in my head seriously, as in like a sanitation worker probably be a bad job to have, or just not so much fun.
Yeah, I would not.
And then my brain connected the two about making the dumb joke. So there you go. But I mean, shit, in all seriousness, like you said, some of them dirty jobs or whatever, like I made the dumb joke, but there's a lot of jobs out there that are needed.
That I ain't doing. So mad respect to the people who do.
Fuck yes. Like sanitation worker shit. The people who build skyscrapers, and you see those old fucking, clips of the people sitting out on the beams where they, like the black and whites, where they sitting on the beam, swinging their feet, a fucking sandwich. I'm like, bro, what?
Yeah, construction, nope. Nah, for me.
That level of construction, but just construction in general, right? Shit, them oil riggers and stuff, where the people, like, you risk your life to go, fucking mining for oil and shit.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I said rigor, and it made you think of something else.
It made me think of a tweet I saw earlier today about someone complaining about election, and then in all caps, riggers. doing so and so, so and so. And said person probably doesn't need to put any word that has Iggers in caps, considering the PR that the negative PR reputation they already have.
Were a lot of people in the comments like joking about what you're saying right now?
Well, my roommate brought it up when I came in. It said person may also be like, I think it's now up to 100 or some shit indictments toward him. With still not any jail time, and he's a former president of the United States, the most recent former president of the United States.
Okay.
Okay.
So just his name rhymes with Bonald Kump.
Kump.
Was that funny? Yeah. It was stupid.
No,
was it
I'm
that
just
damn
12.
funny?
No, I'm just immature.
Yeah, because it was the way I said Bonald Kump. You say Kump. Like really,
Yeah.
really.
But yeah.
I remember I was watching speaking of that, I was watching YouTube Smosh actually, and it was back when they had Smosh games and they had a whole bunch of people on there and shit. Before they kind of hired some people, fired some people, whatever the fuck. Fired, let go. I don't know, however you want to phrase it. But they used to have more people and they would do it or whatever. And it was funny because they were playing this one game and you had to come up with like a clothing item or whatever. And this white dude was like, I came up with knickers. And everybody was like, you better really enunciate when you say that word. And he's like, also right here, I said, and he was not trying to go for being funny or whatever. It was just, he really, but it was just like, he's like, here I also said knickers. And everybody was like, yeah. It was just funny because he's like, yeah, you better make sure what you say when you say it. As Eminem would say what you say, how you say, whatever you say when you're saying it. Just remember how you said it when you were saying it. I should have did that for the fucking tongue twister. Honestly, I should have.
Yeah.
What is it? Say how you say what you said, whatever you say when you're saying it. Just remember how you said it when you were saying it. So who you playing with? Huh?
Which song is that?
I think it's Say What You Say, to be honest. Like, yeah. Not even trying to be funny. Eminem gets brought up a lot on this show.
Rap gets brought up a lot on this show, Jazz.
Well, I mean, I'm a rapper, so
yeah.
And then we grew up loving like all music, but like rap, being one of the ones that we really love. So, but
I mean, fighting games comes up a lot on the show too. So it is what it is.
I mean, you holding your shirt up. I mean,
and wrestling.
I'm saying you could just be a fucking, you could just be somebody who runs a company and likes to fight people, near water.
I literally said fighting games and wrestling, and this is a fighting game fighting game shirt based on a wrestling event.
I'm CEO and
I have a coworker. I won't put his name out there, but he's like been training down here to be a wrestler, and he's done some like indie wrestling.
Is he big as fuck?
Yeah.
Okay.
He's big as fuck. He's more stocky than he is cut. But he also wears a suit all the time, so who fucking knows? But the dude's fucking huge, and he saw my shirt today, and he just immediately realized it was a Bash at the Beach reference. He's like, I like this shirt. I'm like, yeah, you would like this shirt because it's a wrestling reference. But yes, so Jazz, it's almost that time of year again for football season. It's the preseason right now. And the Panthers are trash. They got beaten. Now, preseason doesn't really matter. There was a season where the Rams went 4-0 into preseason. The St. Louis Rams, of course, the only Rams that mattered. The St. Louis Rams went 4-0 into preseason, only to go 2-14. So,
Jesus, what year was that?
One of the years they were in St. Louis. Pick one.
2-14 is garbage.
Yep. It sure is, and they sure were.
Holy fuckity fuck.
And we were I was a fan anyway, because that's the hometown team.
That's how St. Louis.
Yep.
I don't even mean that in a bad way, just that's how St. Louis is.
But but now I'm a Panthers fan for reasons. Go watch an older episode. Anyway, the Panthers got shellacked 27-0 by the Jets. The fucking New York Jets.
27-11, but it is preseason. The preseason can dictate, but it is.
It
preseason.
is, but when
But that's
you
still not good to be.
but when you trade away like one of your best players as well as some other picks and stuff, so you can get the number 1 overall pick on a quarterback, and that quarterback goes out and lays an egg, doesn't necessarily bode well for the regular season. Then again, our last quarterback was former Jet Sam Darnold. And, you know, as I've said before, when you're a Jet all the way. And he was trashed for us.
The disdain that you displayed for that man on some of these episodes.
Well, yes, we traded a lot to get him, and he shat the bed. And I don't know why people keep thinking getting players who aren't good enough for the Jets is a good idea. But then we followed it up by getting a player who wasn't good enough for the Browns, and he wasn't good either. Who would have guessed? Anyway, yeah, things don't look good for the Panthers. They got beat 27-0 by the Jets. I didn't even realize preseason started, but I just saw that thing on Twitter.
27-0 is bad. Like I said, preseason or not, that's bad.
Yeah. So there's that. But soon, you know, football season. So excited about that. So Jazz, I'm not sure if you had a topic, but I've got a question for you.
The biggest topic I had was the joke about the worst job or whatever. So yeah, go ahead.
Gotcha. So I've only done some light thinking about this, but I guess we can have, and I had it in my back pocket for an eventual discussion if we needed something to talk about. So, you know me, I try to preface things to tell you where I'm coming from. So you watch RDC World. Have you seen the thing about anime worlds you don't want to live in?
I saw that they had the video about it.
But you haven't watched it.
I didn't click on it. And the reason why I don't always click on some of that stuff is because, you know me, I like anime. I've seen some anime. I haven't seen a whole lot. Dave's seen damn near every fucking thing, so I know they're going to be talking about a lot of shit.
Okay. Well, this isn't based off that video, but it's technically a similar vibe. And before you accuse me of like, oh, nigga, you saw this shit on RDC. I'm like, no, I didn't. But something in a similar vein.
There's nothing wrong with saying that we got inspired by them as long as we give them credit. So that's cool.
But it also, like I said, is not exactly what I'm trying to say. But so it's in a similar vein, and I was thinking about this as I was watching some stuff the other day. But if you could just live the life of a character from fiction.
Oh shit.
Who would you do? Now, before you pick, there's some catches to this. Because obviously people would just pick, oh, I'll do this. I just want to be that dude. I'll go here. I'll change all kinds of shit. I'll go to this and I'm going to do this story right. I'm going to make all the decisions for them. I'm not talking about, oh, you're put in this world and you get a chance to redo some of this person's mistakes. I just mean you are in their body. You experience everything. The choices they make are the same choices they made in the story. Any gaps that aren't on screen, sure, you can do what you're doing there as long as but your life will always go back to that track.
You don't get to change any of the pitfalls. You live the exact same shit.
You experience the pain. If I decided that I wanted to live the life of Vegeta, I'm gonna have to get used to holding my left arm. Like, it's just gonna happen. My arm's gonna be broken often. I'm gonna have to deal with that pain every single time. If I die and come back, I'm experiencing the going to hell and coming back, that kind of shit. At the same time, I get to go to space. I get to have all this other shit. I get to blow up planets. I don't never really wanted to blow up a planet, but I can. You know what I mean? Now, while you're doing this, like, you're living the life of the character, you come back out, you got all the memories of living that character's life and all the experiences, and you're like, damn, that was cool. And you live your life like normal. It's not like you spend time from your friends and family. It's just like, oh, here, you don't watch TV. So I'm assuming you've never watched Rick and Morty. Because that does not seem like your
Oh, that
type of show. I'd say that is not your type of show.
It's not that I wouldn't necessarily like it, and I'm like dodging it on purpose. I just haven't caught it.
It's also not your type of show. And so yeah, but they had an episode where they went to a like Dave and Buster's wannabe, like a space Dave and Buster's, and they played this game called Roy, where it's like a VR game where you put on the headset, but when you do, you literally are living through the life from birth to death of this character named Roy as you play the game. Like you experience your like first date, you're so you play sports, you like get the sports injury, you go to a carpet store and become like you get your own carpet store, you get cancer and almost die, you beat cancer. And one of the characters doing it went back to working at the carpet store till he fell off a ladder and died, and then came over. And
so you just become Roy, whoever that is.
And then he comes back, and then you're like questioning reality. I'm not necessarily talking about you questioning reality after my experiment or after my experience here, but it's still the similar thing where you experience all that, but then your life continues and you have the memories of.
So it would be like if I said I wanted to be Pikachu. And I'm Jazz.
Mm-hmm.
I become Pikachu for however long, and I go
like
back to
Ash is Pikachu. Yeah, for however, and you
and
go through all
Jazz.
like 800 episodes worth of experience that Ash's Pikachu goes through, but then you come back.
So I tap into it for the duration of however long for that character, and then I come right back to me.
Mm-hmm. But
so
you
it's not
with
like
all those experiences.
So it's like, oh man, I know what it's like to be an electric mouse. Like,
yeah, or just fucking shock the shit out of some people and send them rocket blasting off in the future.
So this is the thing.
And see all the sights that you see in the world of Pokemon.
So this is the thing. So do you become said character for the duration
of their life? However, if their story is finished, which I would choose a character whose story is finished at least, so that I know where I'm ending up. But like, let's say let's say the story is finished, and from that character's birth to death, or to the last point that we know of that character's life, you experience it.
Well, because what I mean too is like so you experience like not just this like the life, but you experience the story.
Yeah.
So
the story is part of their life.
Well, the reason why I say that is like if it's a movie and we only get to know the character for like 90 minutes.
Yeah.
So you only experience that 90-minute arc. You don't experience what happened like after.
It's hard to say what happens after. That's why I say go ahead, and that's why I say I would pick a character personally that had a story. It would probably be easier if you pick someone where you know how their life ends up. If it is something like a 90-minute movie and you just want to assume that the rest of their life was good, you can, and just be like, I don't care what happens after that movie. I want to be part of that movie. That's entirely up to you. Like if you want to be, go ahead.
How long is the duration of whatever the character does in the real world? Since I tap in and tap back, how long does it last for us? Oh, it's like
that's what I'm saying.
Like Inception, where it was like the further you go in the dream world, the longer it is. But in real life,
no, you come back. You don't have to be like, oh, your friends and family are wondering where you are for the 70 years lifespan of whatever character you chose.
It's only been like a few seconds or a few minutes.
Yeah,
but you experienced it. You
experienced it. But you get all those memories. Now, I thought about it, and I was like, damn, this would be cool. And I thought of those caveats just to be like, because I want to have the whole negative aspect as well. Like, if your character you choose at some points gets hit with, like, 200 gunshots, 47 stab wounds, 10 cannonballs, and have your face melted off. You still go through that, even if you die in a badass way. You still go through all that pain. So you may not necessarily pick that character.
Okay, I got
that
another
said,
question.
Go ahead.
is it somewhat like Groundhog Day where I do it and then I can do it again with someone else and I can do it again with some, or is it like you only have one chance to do this with one character and that's it? Is it like if I wanted to be Pikachu, then I could be fucking Meowth, and then I could be fucking Jesse?
Shits and giggles, let's say the one time.
That's what I was saying. Because clearly, if you can do it more than once, then I'll pick
you just pick a lot of characters. I'm gonna say, for the sake of making it a choice, it's one character.
Good prompt, Pete. And it's got to be a fictional character, like a real person.
Yeah. Because I mean, shit, you know what the real world's like.
Good point. That's actually a very good point.
Now, it could be a fictional character whose world is very similar to ours.
Right.
Like, but you're that fictional character.
For some reason, the first thing that when you first said this before we even started going down the road of caveats, and I'm not saying this is my pick 100% yet. I got to figure it out and decide. But for some reason, even before we had all this conversation about this and this and this, when you just first said, who would you want to be, blah, blah, my brain instantly was like, Superman. That's like first Robert, and I don't know if that's it, but before we even had all these qualifiers, Superman. And I was like, huh. You know what I mean? I wouldn't want to, but the fact that I get to tap back into being me, but I don't necessarily want to know what it's like to lose every single one of the people, of the inhabitants of my planet, including mom and dad and all of my family.
You're a baby.
True, but then then you go through this whole stage of identity and belonging and trying to find yourself and all that shit.
That you have to go through, yeah. The whole, if you've ever seen the cardboard speech, him talking. Okay, it's from one of the movies where he's beating the shit out of some people, or I think it's Darkseid actually. And he makes a speech where he's talking about how he's spent his whole life feeling like he lived in a world made out of cardboard, or the slightest touch, he destroys a building, does so and so. He has to hold back like 90% of his abilities 90% of the time. And so he was so happy he could finally let loose on a motherfucker like Darkseid. But he kind of mentions like, hey, I can't do anything without the utmost of care. But yeah, you would have to experience doing that.
Because if you think about it, as much as, they call him, the Blue Boy Scout, and as much as Superman is untouchable except for some fucking rock that's hard as shit to find, or magic, which that's fucking stupid. But anyway, as some rock that's hard as shit to find and all that stuff or whatever. Otherwise, no one can touch this man, including bullets and all that. Okay, but if we look at it from the standpoint of just Superman, like Kal-El, this man never knows what it's like to be around people like him. He is, like you said, with that speed, he's constantly and forever in a world that isn't his, that he just got put into, where he's got to just be like, well, I guess I can't do that, and I can't do that, and I got to do this, and and then you got to pretend to be fucking Clark Kent on top of that, because you don't want people to actually find out who the fuck you
pick
are.
A secret identity, you got to deal with all the deals and keeping that secret identity. Yeah, that's what makes it a hard choice, is oh no, you're living their life as they lived it.
And then he really has to do the whole Clark Kent keeping it a secret thing, because then, you fell in love with Lois, and you don't want the love of your life to get fucked up just because of you, because he's Superman. Okay, you find out, oh no, you found out that I'm actually Superman. Okay, aside from Kryptonite, I whoop your ass. But, like I said, he fall in love with Lois.
I'm Spider-Man. I get all the cool things about being Spider-Man, and all the shitty things about being Spider-Man, and all the shitty things about trying to protect my secret identity, and all the shit that comes with that, the shit with Mary Jane and Gwen and Black Cat and all of that shit, all the numerous breakups and deaths and shit involved. Then I finally get convinced by Tony Stark to reveal my identity, only to have it lead to my Aunt May being shot. And so I have to try and make the world forget about me, kind of like they did in the movie and shit, and end up losing the love of my life as a result. Spider-Man forgets Mary Jane. It's a stupid concept. I never read the comics around it, but I always hated that.
It's supposed to be something like
And then
in
they
the
then they
comics.
brought it up in the fucking, or they did a spin on it with the most recent Spider-Man, Tom Holland Spider-Man movie.
In the comics, it's supposed to be something. I remember that in the movie, but in the comics, it's supposed to be something like
I could deal with
he.
Mephisto or some shit.
Well, no, it was something like fucking Green Goblin or some shit became like a different form of Spider-Man.
Oh
And
well,
he had his consciousness or some shit like that.
I
And he could talk to him. And he became
this.
Spider-Man, and he was doing it to be evil. But then he said, "Okay, fuck it, I'll be Spider-Man." I saw like a
As,
comic thing. I
and
saw
I
a comic
believe
thing
you.
about it. They broke it down, and it was actually really fucking like cool how they broke it down. But
Yeah,
it's crazy. It's
I'm not
convoluted.
taking anything away from the quality of the Spider-Man writing. I'm just saying that shit's confusing, and that's coming from an X-Men reader. By the way, X-Men turned 60 this year. In like a
This
month.
year.
Yeah.
That is, what is that? Is that the 60s? That's 63.
1963. September of 1963. Avengers
Holy
also
shit.
is September of 1963.
You said who is?
Avengers.
Shit.
Obviously, the people who make up the Avengers were before that, but Avengers, the series, is also September of 63.
Dude, you understand? I'm gonna say one aside real quick. Shout out to my parents. My parents were born not too long before I think your mom or whatever it was too, but
Both of
not too
my
long,
parents were born
yeah,
before X-Men.
right. Like not too long before X-Men and just comics and whatever like really got underway. And it's just crazy. Like sometimes when I actually stop and think with how old my parents are, and my dad grew up reading comics and loving them and all this shit. And I just stop and think of how old my parents are. And I'm just like, yo, what will still be around? Both my parents are 70. I have no problem saying that because they would say it without
Yeah,
question.
yeah, no, like what?
What?
Why is this making you regret how old your parents are?
No, I'm not saying I regret it. Did I say regret it?
Or no, like what? Oh, sorry.
Oh, I didn't finish my thought.
Yeah, sorry.
No, I was saying both my parents are 70, and I said I got no problem saying that because they will both tell you that, like, like if you ask them at the drop of a hat. But I'm just saying, I think about it sometimes, like for X-Men to still be around. My dad was reading that when he was a little kid, and I think sometimes, like, what will still be around and be being talked about and shit when I'm fucking 70 and 80, shit like that.
Probably nothing because of the way social media tears everything down now. You make something that's slightly against the status quo of what people have come to accept from that character thing, and they just will tear down. This is the worst thing ever. And then the execs see that and they're like, well, scrap it. That was a waste of time. So much for bringing this series back or doing this and trying to keep this alive. The people have turned against it. Meanwhile, the people who are sensible and don't need to post their opinions on social media are like they get to suffer because some loud motherfucker caused it to get taken down.
But anyway, no, I think about like certain stuff every now and then. I'm like, damn, okay, that's still around. And I get what you're saying, but I'm just like, that's still around. Like, and maybe nothing will, but I'm just like, what will fucking be around when I'm 70? Because I'll be 70 in, what is it? If 32, 70, 38 years, I'll be fucking like 70 years old. And that'll be fucking 2061.
Yeah, I highly doubt comics will still be around. They're practically dying off as it
What's
is.
the word gonna look like in 2061?
Comics probably won't be around. MCU and DC movie universe are kind of turning people sour on comics and superheroes. So they won't be around. I don't think anyone will give a damn about like any of the animes we currently watch if the art form's even still around at that point.
Dang, do you think any pop culture will be here?
There will be pop culture, just
I'm
not
talking about
ours.
for now pop
No, I'm
culture.
just saying not stuff that we like. It'll be stuff
It'll be new
the
stuff.
Zoomers and the Zoomers grandkids like.
You don't think any I'll say it for you. You don't think any Generation Y pop culture stuff will still be around?
Not really.
Okay.
Like I don't think pro wrestling has another like 40 years in it. I don't
Yes,
think
that's something interesting to think about. I've thought about that too.
I don't think video games have another 40 years in them.
In no capacity?
I don't think so. We're running out of ideas as it is, and just doing remakes and shit, and people hate
I
them.
mean, but that's been around forever, bro. Like with anything.
Yeah, it's
with
already
movies
been
and
around.
games.
Yeah, it's already been around 40 years, and we're running out of ideas. You think we got another 40 years in us?
But I'm just saying, like, I think that video games in some capacity will always be here. I do. So
Fair.
I'm not even saying that it'll still be your Metal Gear Solids and your like Metroids and all that
Oh
shit.
yeah, none of the IPs are staying around that long.
IP was that me?
Intellectual property, so like specific brands and stuff. Your Zeldas, Metroids, those things. If video games are around, it's some new like Gashmoyity or some shit. But on
Back
the
to
original topic.
Right. That's why I said it's an aside. Then we started going down there. Well, real quick, do you ever stop and think about like, dang, it's been that long. What will be around when I get older type shit? You ever think that sometimes?
Sometimes, but not in a sense of what will be around. It's like, when will I eventually have to grow up and move on from?
You don't have to leave pop culture behind, whatever it is. As long as you mature enough, nothing says that you have to leave shit behind. You know.
Fair.
Anyway, I really don't know. Going back to the topic that you just stated, do you have an answer?
So I've been thinking about this. Part of me wanted to think about a series, so like different anime series and stuff like that. But like I said, if I wanted to be a character from Dragon Ball, that's a lot of pain I'm signing up for.
Oh yeah.
There's the cool power fantasy part of it, and certain other perks that come with being like certain characters. Cool. But again, there's there's the panic of the planet's gonna explode or reality's gonna end as I know it if I fuck up this next move.
Well, and then you want to talk about, I just said Superman and what happened with Planet Vegeta and all the Saiyans.
Yeah.
I mean, the parallels between Superman and Goku are there on purpose. And just all the Saiyans anyway. Whatever Saiyans made it to Earth lost the rest of the Saiyans. So
yeah, let's say if I picked Vegeta, since I joked around about the arm thing, but psychologically I would have to deal with the incessant need to always be the best and never come close to it.
He comes close to it.
He gets his ass whooped by Kakarot every time they fight. It's literally the whole point of his character is he's number 2 to Kakarot.
No, I agree, but you said the best and never come. He comes close. It's just he's perpetually second place. That's close. You're just perpetually second place.
Yeah, that's not progressing at all.
It's not progressing though.
And
I'm just saying you say never coming.
Well, you also got to think about it from his mentality. And his mentality, no matter how much he improves,
he will feel like that.
No matter how much he improves, Kakarot is always better.
Right. No, that's true.
Like, Vegeta's never been better than Kakarot. And I say this as a Vegeta fan.
Even when he sold his soul to fucking Bobbity, he still couldn't fully get there.
Yeah, because he was fighting on equal footing with Kakarot as Majin Vegeta, but Kakarot was literally toying with him because he refused to go Super Saiyan 3.
Speaking of, like you said, the psychological torment, do you know how crazy it is that it's like I had to sell my soul to someone, basically sell my soul to someone.
And you were still toying with me.
Still couldn't be as strong as you.
Yeah, Kakarot was mocking him in that fight.
I decided to be the one person who doesn't want to be under anyone's control, gave up all control, and basically said, I'm evil as shit, fuck my family. just to get strong, and it still was not as strong as that man.
Like multiplicatively weaker. Cause like Super Saiyan 3 is like multiplicatively stronger. So Kakarot literally is just sitting there knowing he can go Super Saiyan 3 and end this in an instant anytime, but he decides to toy with Vegeta for a bit. And that's pretty much the story of their entire relationship. Anytime Vegeta thinks he's come close, Kakarot's like, "Oh boy, you're coming close to me. Time to reveal that I've actually not time to start trying." Oh wait. And so there's that. And I would have to deal with that, the psychological aspect of that. Now I'd get to go home to my rich wife.
Oh yeah, Bulma.
And do spousal things. So that's cool. But I still got to deal with everything else.
Phrase spousal things is just funny.
Well, I decided to not be crass and be like, I get to go home and fuck my wife.
I mean, the amount of fucking, like fanboys and all kind of shit that have lusted after Bulma anyway. So
I mean, and again, that's what I'm saying. That would be a perk. However, I'd still got to deal with the rest of it. Or hell, if I wanted to, let's say if I chose Bulma, it's like, well, I'm rich as shit, but I got to deal with everything else.
Yeah, but if you choose Bulma, you get to know what it's like to have a vagina. I'm sorry, I had to say it.
Well, if I choose any female character, but then again, you can do that in real life as well. But
I try to say that with a straight face.
Yeah. So yeah, no, I thought about characters from the series that my previous figure in front was from like One Piece. This is Godzilla.
Oh.
I got it at a Japanese restaurant. I ordered a drink called the Godzilla, and it came with that figure on top. And then someone else at the table. I won't name him, but he is largely related to this company. He decided to order a Godzilla, and he got a different action figure. And it doesn't even breathe fire like this one. It just kind of sits there like... And he was very upset. And I was
he got a shitty one.
Yeah, he's like, why can't I get that? I'm like, I don't know, man. You ain't me.
What goes into a Godzilla? Was it good?
Yes.
There you go.
If I had some friends that I told about it, because I have a buddy, Fluffles, or he hasn't been, yeah, I've mentioned Fluffles on this show. He's been on the other show. Fluffles and one of the people, Fluffles and someone that Fluffles lives with, I'm not sure if I mentioned her on the show. They, that lady, she loves Lion King, she loves Godzilla, and she likes a lot of other stuff too, but Lion King and Godzilla are two like easy go-to.
Lion King, Godzilla, let's go.
But so I showed them that, and the next week they sent me a picture from the restaurant. Their table had like 8 different fucking Godzilla figurines because they just kept ordering them to collect the figurines.
It's alcohol?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, word.
Yeah, it was an alcoholic beverage called the Godzilla.
You can't name a drink the Godzilla and that shit not have something to knock you on your ass.
It was a good Japanese restaurant too. I forget the name of it, which sucks, but it was good. Anyway. It's next to the Player One bar here in Orlando. It's a Japanese place next to it. Anyway, but I thought about picking a character from One Piece, and because that world, there's the sights that I would see if I were to pick like one of the top people that lives to be like 85 and is a legend in the universe or some shit like that. If I were to pick that character, I go through all of that and all the pains and shit. But 2 things make me say no. One, obviously the trials and tribulations and stuff. Whatever. But 2, the story's not over. And if anything gets written that I would not want to do.
Well, okay, so this is my question then.
Well, that's why, but at the same time, because the story's not over, wouldn't I just live it up to that? But I'd probably pick a character
That's
that
exactly
died
what I
already.
was gonna say. Why not just live up until where it is and then done, because it's not your fault that it's not finished.
True. I'd probably pick a character that I knew how their life ended.
Okay.
But I'm not going with One Piece just because I'm taking a break from fawning over that series in real life. So then, but then I'm like, okay, I can be an X-Men character. Like, there's the first thing you think of with these things is I want to be cool. Who are the cool characters? Or for me,
I feel you.
kind of like you with the Superman thing. But then I'm like, if
I
I'm
mean,
an
my
X,
rap name is Super Jazz.
yeah, like,
I first thought it's
I'm not
super
gonna
cool.
lie, I thought you'd pick like Aang or something because I knew how much you like Avatar.
Oh yeah.
And
But no, like I didn't even just pick Superman just because Super Jazz. It's just my first thought was some superhero something, and then bloop, that was the first one that popped in my head.
yeah, and picking an Avatar character would probably be cool because the whole bending thing. And like being Aang, I'm not really down with the pacifist life. Like, I get the twist at the ending. I still don't agree with it.
You talking about the
I'm always, you know, for yes, that the spoilers to taking, yeah, the that. But I've always been of the belief that some motherfuckers need to die. Like, some motherfuckers do shit and they just need to die.
Right. And then like in the real world, in real life, we wouldn't necessarily be going out here and, doing all that shit. But it's some fucking fictional shit
Yeah.
where the whole point is people do bullshit and people need to have the bullshit called out and have their asses kicked.
Ozai is a motherfucker that needed to die.
What did you say? You said what you say? You said it was one episode. You said he was Avatar Hitler or some shit.
Yes. Even if I didn't say it, that is exactly what he is.
That.
He's Avatar Hitler. And he literally genocided a race. So yeah, Ozai. Well, actually, I think Sozin did it, but Ozai wanted to do more.
But I did. To go up what you were saying. I've done my top 10 Avatar Last Airbender moments that I did shit years ago when I was fucking 18. And the number 10 moment was, like I said, spoilers, whatever, but the number 10 moment was Aang taking away his bending, because as much as it was kind of a cop-out with the series, and I do view it as it's kind of a cop-out, it was still unexpected in a big moment. But I do agree. It was kind of like, is he gonna kill him? Is he gonna kill him? What's he gonna do? Aang doesn't kill. Is he gonna kill him? He took away his bending. When in the fuck was he ever able to do that? So I'm with you on that one. Like, yeah. But yeah, have you figured out it's hard, man, because
it is, right?
It's so many options because there's so much fictional shit, from TV shows to movies to books to video games.
And like let's say I picked Kratos. Okay, I get to have the experience of destroying a pantheon and a half, maybe two pantheons, depending on how you look at certain things with those games.
Speaking of betrayal and all kind of other crazy ass shit.
However, having my wife and daughter's ashes affixed to my skin while I have nightmares every night about accidentally murdering them in the midst of doing all these things. And all the pain that he goes through, because the man literally dies and goes to hell like a minimum of 3 times, and has to climb his ass back out of it. Like, it'd be cool to be like, I did that shit, but I don't want to live through that shit. Because that shit looks painful as fuck. So that's why I say it makes it hard when I'm like, no, you experience the pains that they feel. It ain't even like, oh, I don't have to. If I'm Kratos, I ain't falling for Zeus betraying me in the second game. Nah. Fuck your Blade of Olympus. I'm beating the statue's ass on my own volition. I'll find a way. I'm Kratos. But no, but because of the caveat, I put nope. I'm falling
I
for
was just about
it.
to say that's the whole thing.
Yep,
Yeah.
I'm falling for it. Zeus is gonna be there. You had a choice to do this, and I'm just a choice from the gods. It's as
just
useless
li-
as the gods themselves.
You live through the experience, but you can't alter it. You just live through it as it happens.
Even
That
as
that
you
really
draw
changes
your
things.
last breath, you continue to defy me. Get
I
stabbed.
keep going
I can be
back.
Zeus, but then get my ass whooped.
I keep going back and forth between Superman and now this is really gonna come out of left field, but Marty McFly.
I think that's a nice one as well because you get the time travel aspect.
Yeah.
Get to go
And-
to the future that will never happen with the hover cars and the self.
2015.
Yeah,
Which was what, 8 years ago?
the Cubs winning the World Series. Oh wait,
I did that.
it's the wait.
But
That's okay. It'll be 30-15 before it happens again. I mean,
what was I gonna say? But no, I mean, literally, like one of, and some people will even say is the best movie ever made, but definitely one of the best movies ever made. Like so much shit that happens in that movie is just there's just so much stuff in that movie that is just so much fun to watch and to experience. It would be interesting,
and you get to go to the Wild West.
right? A lot of people hate 3. I don't hate 3. A lot of people hate.
I also do not hate 3, but that's because I think I've only seen it once and barely remember anything from it. So I can't hate it.
The two things that a lot of people hate about 3 are they think the Wild Wild West thing was kind of like really but then the biggest thing a lot of people hate about 3 is Clara, Mary Steenburgen. A lot of people found her annoying. I didn't hate it. I thought it was cool. I thought it was interesting. And the pacing is a lot slower in 3 also.
Shit, TV shows. Oh my god.
I
want to pick someone with superpowers because I would love to have superpowers.
That's the main reason why Superman popped in my head first, because I told you if I could have any power, it'd be flight.
Yeah. I either want to have superpowers or I want to be in a very imaginative world, or something with both. So my first thought always went to anime because they have a lot of like worlds that are very unique.
It's imaginative as fuck. Every anime is imaginative.
There are a lot of unique worlds. Like hell, even if I pick something like Full Metal Alchemist, let's say, doing alchemy and shit, that would be cool. Their world is pretty much like the fucking 40s, but they got magic fucking alchemy powers. They can literally turn shit into other shit. But there's 2 ways to do it in that world. You can either draw either way you'd have to do a lot of studying of science to know how things are made up, so you could do this alchemy, but you either draw a transmutation circle and then do it, or have like some kind of device that has the transmutation circle drawn on it for you if you specialize in something, or you're one of the people that can just clap an alchemy. But let's just say you probably don't want to experience whatever it takes, so that you, without spoiling too much, you don't want to go through the experience that it takes to be able to and do alchemy the easy way. I think I'd rather just draw the transmutation circles, but I'd be so much nerfed compared to the people that can just clap and do what they want.
Or I think I would want to be Stan from the Martian Mathers LP. No, I'm joking. Technically, that is like a fictional character with a full story arc.
And there are a lot of people that agree with. According to the way people have colloquially adopted the term, a lot of people would agree with that sentiment.
Good use of the word colloquially. But yeah, no, fuck no, I don't want to be Stan. What the hell?
You shouldn't. Nobody should.
You always do this.
It's very frustrating. I don't get frustrated by much. That's a lie. I get frustrated by a lot of things. I'm not a happy person.
At least you're a little self-aware. Oh, that's funny.
I'm not a happy person. Hey, I say it. People tell me I'm a happy person. I'm the one that says I'm not.
I don't think that you are as unhappy as you say. We've had this conversation before. I do see when you are unhappy about certain things, and it's like, well, what the fuck? But I don't think you're as unhappy or angry as you say you are.
Fair.
But whatevs.
Fair. Shit. There's so many cool things, but the
I want to
caveats
be
that come with
Norman
them.
Bates. No, the fuck I don't. Like, see what it's like to fucking talk to my dead mom and stab somebody in the fuck no. Psycho.
Yeah, I knew it. Psycho killers, ecstasies.
What does he say in the second part of that Psycho Killer? What?
Something in French. I don't know.
Oh! I thought you actually.
It sounds like
said the word.
ecstasies. Something in French.
Psycho Killer. Qu'est-ce que c'est?
Yeah, ecstasies.
I think he says qu'est-ce que c'est,
Maybe.
which is French, but I don't fucking know.
Fuck it. I don't know. But
Fuck it. Fuck it. Fail. Fuck it.
Fuck it. Anyway, this is hard. Oh, go ahead. One thing about Back to the Future.
One thing about Back to the Future that wouldn't be fun, but the thing is, it's not Jazz's mom. It's not my mom. But in the consciousness of Marty McFly and me being Marty, it would be my mom. I don't want my mom hitting on me in any capacity.
Yeah. That is something that would happen. And you would be
that happened in
signing
the
up for
movie.
that.
She like was trying to touch his dick and shit under the table in that one scene and rubbing up on him, tried to kiss him. He fell out the car and all kind of shit. She was coming on to him hard. And that's the one thing that I really like. Like I said, it wouldn't be my mom. But in the consciousness of Marty, it would be my mom. And I don't want my mom like doing anything to me in any capacity of any romantic nature. My mom can show me love and affection, please, of course, all the time. But any type of like romanticness, yuck. Disgusting. And I'm pretty sure my mom would feel the exact same way. That's
God,
nasty.
There's so many cool characters that go through so much shit. Like, I was looking around my room for some stuff, for like some possible inspiration. I see like a Gundam Wing poster behind me, like, oh, I could be one of these motherfuckers. But wait, no. Actually, if I were to be one of the 5 pilots from Gundam Wing, I think Duo would be the best. It would be the safest option there, because he gets out relatively cool. Troa goes through some shit, but Troa also has one of my favorite origin moments, where some asshole is about to assault a lady, like at like a base where they're building the Gundam that he has, and Troa shoots the motherfucker, rightfully so, and kills him. They're like, "Oh, thank God! Who are you? You know, thank you for saving me. What's your name?" And this motherfucker goes, "I don't have one. What's his name? His name was Troa Barton. That's my name now. That mobile suit's mine too." Oh, okay. He killed the motherfucker and just took his name and just like, that's me now.
Do you ever learn his actual name?
I don't think so.
Holy shit.
No, his name is Troa Barton. He killed the motherfucker and just took his name. I'm like, that's some hard shit.
That's some fucking hardcore gangster shit right there.
Troa is a hard motherfucker with his weird hair.
Okay, I got another question.
Duos, I think it's just, he gets off relatively easy in the grand scheme of things, and he has the cool Gundam with the Death Sight. And he just gets to be a cool guy, and you get to go to space.
I got another question for you then, though. So, does it count in the character aspect? Because we're not doing real people, but does it count in the character aspect of being the character of a professional wrestler? If you were to be that. as in like being Undertaker, being Mankind,
Oh
being
my
being Stone
God.
Cold Steve Austin, because the real person who played Stone Cold isn't like that. So being Stone Cold,
Correct.
and then the question is, the ones who are still going, are you them just all the way through the decades they did it, or are you them for just the duration of a storyline?
Oh
So are
no,
you like
you're the if you're Undertaker,
are you just
that's
Ministry of Darkness, or are you
you
Undertaker all the way
are
through to like
the
Underbiker and then
Undertaker.
back? Yeah,
You are the Undertaker character, like as portrayed on TV and shit. I guess not you don't live Mark Calloway's life.
that's what I mean, right?
You live what we've been told is the Undertaker's life.
Like
Which is to say, the parents burning at your brothers, I mean yours, I mean your brothers, I mean both of you, who knows, hands.
well then okay, so
The
this is the
demon
point.
brother that keeps showing up to try and fight you and shit that you're frenemies with.
So this is the question too. Then, so like, if you were to say you wanted to be Edge,
'Cause that is
then does it genuinely flop back and forth between Christian is your brother, then your friend, or was he always your friend the whole time, or is he your brother and all of a sudden poof, now he's your friend?
pretty much.
Okay, so
You're living the character story. You also take a 7-year break because they admitted
fucking
on
like
TV that he's got to retire, like, because of neck injuries. Like, Edge came out and said that. You know what I mean? And as
I know that
opposed
was-
to them trying to keep it under wraps that something happened, with like kayfabe. Like, oh, we wrote him off because he got slammed through a table and we don't see him for months. When reality, you like tore a disc in your back and you out for like whatever. You probably just
so
sit on the shelf for months. I don't know.
Yeah, so-
That would be
so-
weird
so-
with wrestlers. That's why it would be weird as injuries.
that's what I'm saying. If you were gonna be Roman Reigns, then are you Roman Reigns? But then when he did that promo saying, "Hey, my name is Joe and I have cancer," do you stop being him for that little bit and then pick back up when he came back? Because that was technically Joe and not Roman. I'm really thinking like way deep
They,
with this.
they,
one here.
well, I mean, hell, they call him Joe every once in a while now.
Well,
Because
you
of this
get what-
whole bloodline shit. So, you get.
And, like-
Oh my god. Well, you may not stop being Roman because he's saying he's Joe and he's got cancer, but you got cancer. Because Roman Reigns came out and admitted he had cancer. You get leukemia and go
I'm
on the
about to
shelf
say,
from
I'm about to
leukemia.
say Roman Reigns did, but really Joe and Wyatt did. But I get what you mean.
But that's the thing. He still would later go on and do. When he came back, they're like, "Hey, it's Roman Reigns back from his battle with leukemia." It's not, "Hey, it's Joe Anoa'i back from his battle with leukemia." He just he said his real name to level with you.
Right. To connect with everybody, yeah. But I was just wondering, like, do you just stop being him for that time being? And then, like I said, like, so, like,
You're Matt Hardy. You still get cheated on by Lita with Edge because they decided to make that public.
they made that a story, and I mean, obviously, you would never want that to happen, but that was one of the best fucking storylines back in the day when they decided to blur the lines. I'm not gonna lie.
And led to one of my roommate's favorite bad promos. Fucking Matt Hardy shortly after that, when he was trying to go into either TNA or the Indies or something, and he was complaining about his life and how he's seen the top and the bottom and all this stuff. He's lived life as an angel and he's lived life as a demon. He is Matt Hardy, the angelic Diablo. And he said it was delivered awkwardly, but he mentioned the Edge and Lita thing in there. He's like, "I've been at the top of the world, I've been in the battle, but now I'm Matt Hardy, the angelic Diablo," and it didn't go anywhere.
What's his name? I was
However,
there.
because he used his real name the whole time, that would probably include the TNA and other years as well, and being broken and shit. Wrestling is very complicated to pick.
That's what I'm saying. Like,
Especially
they
if you would use
they
the same
stay-
name in every company. Yeah.
What was I gonna say? What's his name? Oh, real quick, I was gonna say, yeah. Shout out to Big
Ric
Bro.
Flair would be a hell of a life.
That would be a hell of a life. Well, say shout out to Big Bro on and off screen. But no, me and Ibn, shout out to Big Bro. We went to SummerSlam in 2005, and that was when Matt Hardy and Edge had that match that everybody wanted to see, and that motherfucker ended in no contest because Matt was bleeding too much. I was pissed. I was like, all this build up, and the match just got called. Fuck you. Anyway,
because Matt Hardy was bleeding too much, so he got his ass whooped too much. Like after
all of this fucking like big ass build up, all this storyline, this amazing storyline, y'all did this shit. What was I gonna say though? So there's another thing too though. If we still do wrestling, there's another thing. If the wrestler's name change, are you the wrestler for the duration of that gimmick, and then you stop being them once they change their name? Or are you them for the duration? So if I say I want to be Stunning Steve Austin, am I no longer him when I'm Stone Cold?
Are Stunning Steve and Stone Cold treated as different people?
Or am I like the ringmaster and then the ringmaster stops, or am I just the full duration of the career of this man?
That's what I'm saying. If to not use Stone Cold because I'm not as familiar with, or I don't know how much they play, because Stunning Steve Austin, Stone Cold Steve Austin literally just sounds like a mood change. You know what I mean?
Like Cody Rhodes and
Cody Dashing and all that shit. But let's say Isaac Yankem versus Kane.
Now that is two very different fucking characters.
They're treated as separate characters, in which case I would say pick one.
Okay.
But Bray Wyatt or Husky Harris, because Bray Wyatt keeps making references to being Husky Harris in the past, you're probably Husky Harris to, getting punted in the head, coming back as cult leader Bray Wyatt, to getting set on fire, to coming back as the Fiend Bray Wyatt.
Well, and you would still be the Fiend because even though they call him the Fiend, technically his name is still Bray Wyatt, so your name is not going to change.
And it's clearly him.
Well, no, I'm not even saying that. I'm saying like they still officially call that man Bray Wyatt.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's.
Oh, but yeah.
Yeah, it's still clearly all to say. Even in character, it's clearly him.
And then, like I said too, like if you're a character whose name is whose thing is still going on, you're them forever. Like Randy Orton, who've been doing this shit for fucking ever. So that means that I have to even go through the fucking like overrated Legend Killer gimmick. Yeah, I said it. I was waiting. I wanted to say it. I just had to say it. Get it out.
I hated the
Legend Killer gimmick wasn't bad.
I hated the Legend Killer because he was killing the legends, but I still respect it for what it is.
Legend Killer gimmick is not bad. Legend Killer gimmick is overrated. I liked it. It's overrated. The overratedness of it is that everybody acts like, oh my God, this was the best thing since sliced bread that Randy Orton ever did in his career, him at his best, blah, blah, blah. It was fun.
That's not what I hear, though.
A lot of people say
everyone talks about 09 Bald Randy. Maybe not 09, but Bald Randy that was evil, punting people in the fucking head.
That is when he was at his best. Yes.
And that's what people that's what people declare as his best. That's the only thing I hear people say is his best. I hear people say they like Legend Killer, yes. But the thing that usually people, when they refer to like, oh, best Randy, peak heel Randy, is
when he was a fucking sociopath, right? Yes. Yeah. I love that shit.
That's what I'm saying. Everybody, that's the general consensus of what best Randy is.
I heard a lot of
people. A lot of people also like Legend Killer. But
I heard a lot of people be like, I wish you could go back to Legend Killer, man. Oh, man, that's it. I was like, it was cool. And then another reason why I didn't necessarily like the Legend Killer gimmick as much.
He can't go back to Legend Killer. He is a legend.
True. But another thing that I didn't really like about people like putting so much stock into it was slapping a legend is not killing their legend. That just seemed kind of. I know what you're saying. Now we're going down a whole road, but
who did he slap and count that as him killing the legend?
I forget. The whole thing was he was this cocky young dude.
Yeah, he went out and he beat everybody in what they do.
There was somebody around that time, like one, maybe two people, where he was like, I slapped you, I did this to you, killed your legend because I embarrassed you. but there was like one or two people he did it to. It was, yeah. Anyway, we're going down a whole different road, and we are coming up to the end of the show. So I'm not gonna cut you off if you had a point to make, but we are you.
No.
Okay. I just wanted to build up and say that I didn't do the whole wrestling thing for that. I just wanted to say that. But if I had to pick a wrestler, I'm not saying I would pick a wrestler, but if I did pick a wrestler, I'd probably pick The Rock because you want to talk about being the coolest motherfucker ever.
Yeah.
Once I get past the Rocky Maivia and the Nation of Domination shit, especially Rocky Maivia bullshit. Once I get past that, I get past the Nation of Domination shit and a piece of the corporation shit. Once I get past that, man, because even Hollywood Rock with the vest and shit, bruh, come on.
No, The Rock would be a cool ass character to be.
Or Stone Cold. So
yeah, one of those motherfuckers would be a cool.
Stone Cold.
Damn, Stone Cold would be a cool ass character to be. You got to get hit by a car though, but
because even though he was fake as shit, his storyline
the character really got hit by a car.
Damn, yeah, you got to get hit. But
you got to get hit by a car.
By motherfucking Rikishi of all people. Anyway,
you gotta get hit by a car. You gotta get thrown. But yeah, if I were to pick a wrestler, those would be two great.
Well, then that means if you're The Rock, that means that your fucking ambulance has to get fucking crashed into by a fucking truck.
Yeah. No, look. There's some shit that wrestlers got that the characters have to go through. If I'm Roman Reigns, I gotta deal with fucking Braun Strowman trying to kill me for like a good year.
I would say Superman or Marty McFly.
Those are good choices.
If I had to pick, I'd probably say Superman, but Superman or Marty McFly. Because what Marty did and everything that Marty went through and all that shit, it was just cool as fuck, and it seems like it would be fun. Like I said, my mom trying to touch my penis, but if I could just get past the rest of that, okay.
Yeah. If I were to pick something from One Piece, it would either be Whitebeard or Zoro. Mainly for long, without spoiling too much, let's just say they go through a lot of badassery. At the same time, I don't want to be either one of those because a lot of their badassery is tanking a lot of fucking damage. I don't think there's a single, or there may be a single fight, like serious fight, not just let me destroy some fodder real quick. I don't know of any major fight Zoro's had in the series where he didn't go into it with some kind of physical, like, extra wound and it's be pretty much fighting from the back foot because it's like, oh, my ankles are half cut off, or I got a big ass gash through my body because I'm getting bodied.
That's the one who has like 4 or 5 swords when he fights or some shit.
3, but yes.
Okay.
Now, yeah, the 6 swords guy is a completely different character. Anyway, he's got 6 arms, so. So he can use 6 swords. But anyway, so it'd be one of them. But I'd probably pick an X-Men character. And if I'm down to just deal with the pain, because my real life, I go through a lot of pain as it is. It's nothing as serious as what these characters go through. After all, they're fictional. But if I'm gonna take... the psychological aspect... I was going to be like, if I'm going to deal with pain anyway, why not be Wolverine? But if you want to talk about the psychological aspect of a character...
Everybody knowing all that shit, yeah.
What'd you say?
So losing everybody you know. In a perpetual state of just being alive and watching everything around you fucking die, but yet you can't, yeah.
And every time that he heals from something, he still feels all that. The man got reduced to a skeleton at one point. So...
okay, for real.
Probably pick Iceman.
I was like, coming up on the end.
Iceman's chill. I'll say Iceman because I think he gets off easy. Haha, because he gets off relatively easy compared to the rest of them. And I'm pretty sure he still gets to go to space and shit like half of them. Like, you can do a lot as an X-Men character. And because we're coming up short on time,
I was gonna say
Iceman.
Beats the fire and coming up on time. Okay, Iceman.
Yeah.
Like I said, if I had to pick, it'd be between. I mean, this might. If we did this every episode, I would probably have a different person to think. But off the
Same.
top of my head,
I'm gonna say the same, especially because Iceman's not my first choice, but we're running out of time, and I need to pick someone who got off relatively easy.
Oh, Iceman for you, on top of my head, Marty McFly or Superman if I had to pick Superman. That being said, if you had to pick out of any and everything of where you can go ahead and follow us on our respective socials, well, then let us narrow that down for you. So you can go ahead anywhere you stream your music. Look me up. Like I said, I do rap. I make music. Look me up anywhere you stream your music under the name Super Jazz. That's spelled Superjaz. Go ahead and look up the debut solo album I dropped about 2 years ago called My Secret Identity. You may have to put in Super Jazz, My Secret Identity, since I'm not that famous yet. Also on X, Twitter, go ahead, look me up under the handle at Super. I'm at Super Jazz 2, so that's Super Jazz number 2. And of course, on Instagram, you can find and follow me under Forever Super Jazz, the word forever spelled correctly. And a few months ago, really a month ago, maybe 2 now, just wrapped on the first production of a production company I started where we're doing theatrical plays and whatnot. So, Aquarian Rising Productions. You can go ahead and look for and like the page on Facebook, and it's Aquarian, not Aquarius. Aquarian Rising Productions. Go ahead, find it on Facebook, give that a like so you can stay up to date on everything going on with their production company. That being said, where can they find you, sir?
Well, you can find me here, first off, every week, every Wednesday on the Whatever We Want podcast. You can also find me elsewhere on YouTube, on the channel Feo Grande. That's Feo Grande. I have a show on that as well where we discuss movies, or me and my good friend Bill Smith. Called This Guy Hasn't Seen. You can see new episodes of that every week, every Tuesday. You can also find me on Twitter and Twitch at Giotavi. That's Giotavi. Come on in, stop on by. What's an Instagram? I don't know. Don't ask me why. Anyway.
Well, whether it be about sanitation jobs or shitty jobs, I should just hit the sound effect. Whether it be about sports, Rams, the whatnot, the what wills, or whether it be about what character you would be in a fictional setting if you could be that character for the duration of the story and then go back to living your life. What are we going to talk about next time?
Whatever we want.
Be nice to yourself, everybody.
Adiosness.